Hi all, Nick Young here. I am with Alex from Placements Office. Guys, we're getting in touch. We've sent you an email. If you were in year 1, you've got an alternative placement. In year 2, you've got a primary school placement. So you will have received this email as Alex seamlessly pulls up the email on the screen. So you can see here, this is the placement email we've sent you out. So everything you need to do with placement is on this email. So we've got, as you can see, this short video that will tell you about what you need to do. And there's also an email link to the workflow we're going to talk to you about now. Al, can you put on the screen the workflow? So you're going to click the link and they'll be taken through to this screen. Now this is really important that all stages of the workflow are completed for you to start your placement. Please, you cannot start your placement until you've had the agreement. All of these, as you can see here, the green, all of these need to be ticked and approved by Alex, who is our amazing placement officer. So the first thing you're going to have is the student information form. So what on the student information form, what will they need to put in there?
So the student information form is just to get a grounding of the information for yourself. So where your current residence is, it's important. It's also got other things like the need to if you drive, it's very useful, because if we are sourcing your placement for it, we need to know if you're driving or not. So it's just the standard form procedure, but the most important thing, it means you've engaged with the workflow and you've started it, and we've got the information to go from there. So it's a basic form, but it's a really important form to start the workflow. So
you need to all do that. You all need to engage with that. It's really easy to fill out. It's just basic details about yourself. As I stressed, to both cohorts, you need to find your own placement. Obviously, a number of you aren't from Wales, so you may struggle. Start with friends, family, start with local area. If you can't find a placement, Alex and his team will be able to help, but we do strongly advise you try and find your own placement. That's why we've asked for information like, can you drive, where you live, and then I can start our search. So they've done that. What's the next thing they need to do, Al?
So the next part it's the placement information form. So if you have got a strong idea of where you want to be or what you want to do, and you've been given it all clear and you've arranged it yourself, this is where you update the information of where the placement is, so we know where you're going, and all the information from that placement from there. If you haven't found your placement, we source it and then you put the information into this part of the form. So it's the placement information form. This is important because we need contact name, contact number, email address to confirm, because we need to send them information in the Triparty Agreement, as well as health and safety information too. So that's the next part of the process.
So when you're speaking to your placement, so say it's a secondary school, say it's a primary school, if you're in year 2, you need to mention to them, you need to get all the details from them, but you also need to mention there's a Triparty Agreement which needs to be signed. Al, can you just tell us a little bit about the Triparty Agreement?
Yeah, of course. So that gets sent out to your placement directly. You don't have to do anything with that. So that's why the workflow is integral, because after you've put in the information of your placement in the placement information form, we can automatically send them this information that we require legally. So it provides them the information of the agreement that's in place, as well as health and safety procedure from our end too.
Right. And in terms of, you've got the health and safety checklist, what does that entail?
So the health and safety checklist, this is another form which goes out to the placement. Every placement has their own information on safety. We just need it aligned with ours, and to make sure they're taking the right procedures on their end, as well as ours. So this is just the information, the legal information that they need, so everyone's on the same page.
Placement e-module. What do they need to do?
Placement E module is the module which you need to complete. It gives basics of information on the placement itself. It doesn't take long. It's about the important things to consider before you go out on placement. So that's the E module.
It's one of those things. All the steps need to be ticked. If you miss this, it doesn't take long, as Alex said. You need to do it. Make sure you do it, and that's why we're telling you now. You've got some time before you can source your placement. Very, very important that you do this E module. You need to do that. Risk assessment.
The risk assessment, as we are aware of last year, this is to cover ourselves again, to make sure that there's no high risks involved in your placement. If there's high risks, then it'll come through to myself, and we'll have to flag it. Say if there's any particular danger or any concerns in the placement, and it's something which we need to check. So again, all this information comes through myself, and I need to check everything. And if there's anything that gets red flagged, so if there's a high risk in the risk assessment, then we'll be getting in contact just to confirm a few things with either yourself or the placement provider themselves.
It's pretty straightforward. A lot of you are going to be working in schools, secondary schools, PRUs. They've got their own risk assessment. So as Alex has said, it's just that if you're unsure, like if you're going to an outdoor adventure setting in year 1, for example, they're the sort of things, just flag it, send an email to me or to Alex Skinner. I'll put his contact details on the email as well. Ask us. If you're unsure, ask us. But for most of you, you're going to be in pretty straightforward. Schools will have risk assessments. So again, there's something else to ask when you're speaking to them about your placement. DBS is the final thing there, Al?
So the DBS, obviously, everyone should have a standard DBS. But if you are going to a placement, say with vulnerable adults or a charity which deals with any young adults, you might need an enhanced DBS. We don't want you to get something in place and then you'll be waiting for an enhanced DBS for your chosen placement. So that's to make sure everything is in alignment legally, and like you said, Nick, everything needs to be complete for this workflow in order to cover everyone before the placement takes place.
And this is the sort of thing you need to check with your placement provider. Just say to them, when you're in there, you can say, look, just a flag, there's a Triparty Agreement you need to sign. Do I need an enhanced DBS? I'd imagine for most of the schools, most of the placements you're working in, you don't. If you're in a PRU, there may be some circumstances, but they'll tell you. You've all got a DBS to be on this course. So for most of you, you won't need this, but it's worth asking that question. Is there an enhanced DBS? And obviously that takes a bit of time. So ask the question of your provider, and that's what you can do. I would definitely, from last year and from years before, and I'm sure Alex would say the same thing, you need to start this as soon as you can. So start to input the information. It doesn't take that long, but we don't want this happening like a week before your placement's meant to go out. If it's not signed off, you won't go on placement, and obviously that will have implications to you even passing the module. So don't be that person. No, we're telling you now, make sure all of those are green. Anything you're unsure of, get in touch with myself or Alex. Anything else you want to add, Alex?
No, that's it. It's really important to choose something which benefits you. So this is your time to shine and really make those connections from here.
Great. Cool. We look forward to seeing your workflows and where you guys end up on placement. See you soon.